You know, a big mega monster fight takes on a whole new dynamic when you realize that you're the food they're fighting over. No matter how you shape it, even a kaiju that's on your side is really only kinda on your side. Buildings will still get smashed, and things will still get radiation breath blasted. It's in everyone's best interest that the participants in the big dance are limited. Bad news for Earth, because it looks like it's gonna be war. Again. It turns out that we've been here before, and from the clues about the previous Clash of the Titans, we can learn what to expect from the second.
The stories, they're true.
In the 3 legendary MonsterVerse movies so far, we've found out a little bit about the life of giant monsters and how they make the late Cretaceous period look like a walk in the park. Oh, that's when the T-Rex existed, for those of you without access to an 8-year-old to tell you what dinosaurs lived when. Everyone's a dinosaur expert for the first 10 years of their life. While the surface world was riddled with megafauna and early birds eating early worms, there was an even bigger party going on the inside. Turns out Edgar Rice Burroughs was onto something. The Earth is hollow. But instead of Pellucidar, it was Tinseltown. The first hint of the Earth being more of a wiffle ball than a baseball came in Kong Skull Island, when Hank Marlowe explains to the Kong hunters that the skull crawlers come from inside the Earth and have a powerful rivalry with the giant ape that lives on the surface. The really big reveal for Kong Skull Island, however, was that they had just scratched the surface of the MonsterVerse and there were bigger threats out there. Namely, of course, King Ghidorah. King of Monsters saw Ghidorah trying to upend the crown, summoning the monsters. Only Godzilla and Mothra decided, nah, they'll pass on the whole Ghidorah world order and had a city-melting throwdown. But it's that journey to power up Godzilla that the tiny humans got hip to exactly how big the scope of this whole Titan thing is. Godzilla had gone back to where he can charge up, a particularly radioactive portion of the Hollow Earth. There, they got a glimpse of more petroglyphs and the like, depicting a war between the Titans with Godzilla coming out on top in the brackets. Since both Godzilla and Kong seem to have a one-word vocabulary, a loud, blood-curdling scream, they can't exactly give out an oral history of the Great Titan Wars, so we kind of have to put those pieces together ourselves. First of all, whenever that Great Titan War happened, it was a really long time ago. Let's see if we can't dig into our natural sciences lesson to see if we can get a window for how long. Most of what we know about the Titan War comes from cave drawings, implying that there are either people about or a kaiju whose power is really good at art. Hey, all I'm saying is don't rule it out. That means we need people. The oldest Homo sapiens go back 200,000 years ago, but we have to get to 40,000 years ago before people are showing up everywhere. Handily enough, around 45,000 years ago, the first cave drawings show up. Now, we don't start forming complex societies until around 5,000 years ago. Thanks to a bit of exposition from someone in the submarine going through the Hollow Earth, we know that whoever made all those fancy underwater structures were older than societies we know.
This is way older.
So, somewhere between 45,000 years ago and 5,000 years ago, the Titans' rule came to a close. Most of the monsters were dormant somewhere, waiting for man to start insisting on breaking atoms into their component parts in a big way, first awakening Godzilla and then the Mutos. One Titan, however, was wide awake and playing whack-a-mole with the portals to the Hollow Earth and the skull crawlers that kept popping up. This suggests one of two things. The first, and if you're Team Kong, this will be your favorite, the king is Kong. When the dust settled, the Kong family was the last left standing on Earth and spent their time on Skull Island making sure it stayed that way. The second would be more complicated. In this scenario, the Hollow Earth belonged to Godzilla and Kong simply protected his territory, Skull Island. Less an end to the war and more of an armistice. Perhaps the way it was supposed to be before Ghidorah showed up trying to ruin the place.
Oh god.
The trailers for the showdown have leaned heavily on the Great Titan Wars, with the title card of course being Kong and Godzilla, but the first few rounds might not be all it seems. Like the Toho Mechagodzilla. The all-machine version of Godzilla might be showing up disguised as Godzilla in order to trick Monarch into breaking Kong free, who from one shot appears to be living that Truman Show life. While the real Godzilla might have to team up with Kong to defeat his robot impersonator and maybe even a Mecha Ghidorah after the bad guys recovered a Ghidorah head, the trailer tells us what we know is true. You can't have two apex predators. Godzilla and Kong are going to have to renegotiate surface privileges, which looks like it's not going to work out well for Hong Kong. There has been a surprising amount of Toho lore in the legendary MonsterVerse. Even Infant Island is the home of Mothra, complete with twins. They also use the oxygen bomb from the end of the original Godzilla movie. That oxygen bomb could create the next Godzilla threat, Destroya.